Hey crafters, it's Artsy Craftsy Phoebe with another card video. And for today's card, I'll be playing with the Balloon Adventures stamp set, the Chalk Framelits, and the Balloon Pop-up Thinlits dice. Let's get started. We will need Whisper White cardstock 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 for the card base, Very Vanilla cardstock 8 by 5 1/4 scored at 4 inches for the inside of the card, a piece of Pink Pirouette cardstock 4 by 5 1/4 for the front of the card, another piece of Pink Pirouette cardstock 4 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I've ran this on my Big Shot using this Balloon Pop-up Thinlit die. And finally, a small piece of Pink Pirouette cardstock, and I used this Chalk Framelit right here. And I've also gathered a whole bunch of my scrap pieces of cardstock and die cut these balloon pieces using these two balloon dies. So I'll start by stamping this sentiment, and I'll be using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad, and I will be heat embossing this using my Clear Embossing powder. And after that, I'll be sponging the edges of my cardstock using my Rose Red ink pad. And I'll do the same with the Pink Pirouette cardstock for the front of the card. And I will also lightly sponge over my Balloon Pop-up die cut. Next, I'll use this confetti stamp, and I'll be stamping this all over the cardstock using my Blushing Bride ink pad. Then I'll use this solid balloon stamp, and I'll stamp balloons randomly all over my cardstock using my Island Indigo ink pad. And now I'll just grab my balloon die cuts, and I will stick them on top of each of the stamped balloons on my cardstock. And now I can just trim off the excess. So I wanted my sentiment to stand out a bit more, so I'm just sponging it again with my Rose Red and adding a tinge of black as well. And I'll add a piece of gold ribbon, and this ribbon is actually a celebration item. And then I can adhere my sentiment, and I'll use foam tape for this for a bit of dimension. Okay, now I have a scrap piece of paper here, and I've stamped a few of the solid balloons on it using my Island Indigo ink pad. And I'll stick some of my die cut balloon pieces on top of them, and then I'll cut them out. And I'll just use these for additional dimension to my card. So I'll just mount a couple of these pieces onto my card using Dimensionals. I'll add the balloon strings using a black marker pen. And my card front is done. Now for the inside, I will first stick my piece of vanilla cardstock onto my card base. And then I can stick the card front before working on the pop-up part. And for that, I'm just sticking a few of my die cut pieces onto the balloons. And I'll stamp the banner using my Rose Red ink pad. And then I'll stamp my sentiment using my Memento ink pad. And then I will heat emboss this using my Clear Embossing powder again. Now I'll fold along the score lines just like so. And then I'll just sponge more along the edges for a bit more shading. I'm just adding a little bit of washi tape on the inside of the card where the pop-up will be. before adding the pop-up insert. And the inside is done. And as a final touch, I just sprayed the front of the card using my shimmer spray. And there you have it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my video. See you next time. Bye!